Hello and welcome back to another week of Two Sheep in a Pool. My name's James.
My name's Ben.
You alright?
Yeah, I'm very tired.
Are you?
I'm struggling to... This is going to be a slow podcast.
Is it? Maybe for you.
For me.
Yeah.
It feels like everything's moving at half speed.
You probably came home as I went to got up.
Probably. Nah, no. I actually came back pretty early.
Yeah, Ben's feeling a bit worse for wear because he went out.
It's more tired than... It was because it was a staff night out, but most people there worked in bars, so it wasn't going to happen on a weekend.
Right.
But I'm not hungover, just tired.
Oh, you're getting old.
I'm too old. I'm too old for this shit. Still got ID'd though.
Did you?
Pretty much everywhere.
That's that fresh-faced look.
First time in a while.
Interesting.
I've not been. I think there was maybe some people in the group who looked particularly young, so I think they were just IDing everyone. Also,
Monday night, like just after freshers, they probably just thought you were all a bunch of students.
Yeah, they probably did.
But you're not a student.
I'm definitely not a student.
You're an old man.
An old man. Anyway, this isn't good listening.
No, it's not.
Let's continue.
I went to a wedding over the weekend.
That's nice.
And they are listeners of ours.
Oh, hello.
So Natalie and Dave got married. Super congratulations to them.
Congratulations.
Such lovely people. I had an amazing time.
Oh.
And people kept talking to me about the podcast.
Oh, really?
Yes. And one...
Did you feel famous?
No.
Or did you know all of them anyway?
I knew most of them, and people were like, do you know James has a podcast? And then I had someone ask me, oh, why did you start a podcast? Like, not in a mean way.
No, but just why? And
then I just thought, I don't really know.
It's one of those things that you never consider it, really.
Yeah.
It's like, why do you do the job that you do? Mm-hmm. It's one of those things that you just don't really consider, even though it's something you probably should.
Yeah. I think I said that we sat down and just thought we were hilarious and just thought we need to record this so that someone else can hear how hilarious we are.
I think that's actually not far from the truth.
Yeah.
I'm sure that we constantly made shit jokes and we're like, oh, if only we had a microphone around.
Yeah, someone else to enjoy this.
I do have a microphone.
And then I had a very racist comment from someone from Northern Ireland who said that me and you sound exactly the same.
Racism. I don't think that's quite racism, but I don't hear it.
I think that's, because we're English.
Yeah.
Whereas... they're not, are they? Do you know what I mean?
Is that racist?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's because we have a similar pitch, maybe. I don't know.
I feel like maybe my voice is a bit more noticeably different to yours today, just because I was shouting lots in loud places last night. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So maybe that'll help this week.
One thing you did mention about your night out is that you got signed up for karaoke.
Yeah, I did.
Tell us the story, Ben.
It's not a very interesting story, really. We were in a proper, old man pub. Mm-hmm. There wasn't that many people in there. And the reason I was out on this night out is it was the bar's staff night out. I'm a musician there, so I was invited as staff.
Yeah.
I don't like doing karaoke because it's like, do you sing properly and look like a bit of a bell end, or do you not sing properly and also look like a bit of a bell end?
Because everyone knows that you can.
Yeah, so they signed me up for karaoke without me knowing, and then I felt like I couldn't back out, and I got up there, and annoyingly, they'd picked a female song. It was an Alicia Keys song, and the chorus goes very, very high, so I had to kind of work my way around that, and got a standing ovation.
Smashed it, didn't you?
Smashed it.
Standing ovation.
I did end up, I was like, first verse, I was like, timid with the microphone and like, isn't I don't want to be up here, do I? And then by the last chorus I was like proper divering divering it up.
Did you, after you finished, obviously, because these are the people that also pay you when you're working, and did you ask them to pay you?
I did.
Yeah, that's what I'd have expected. That's 2 minutes working out the hourly rate.
It's classed as overtime as well because it's outside normal hours. There was an old man in the corner. I have no idea what his name was, but he was obviously like the resident singer there.
Oh, okay.
I know it was karaoke, but he was like the local. You could see he was like, oh, right, it's time for me to shine now.
Yeah.
And he wasn't very good.
Well, there's a reason why you do it as a job, and he probably doesn't.
That's the reason that he sits in a karaoke bar and treats it like his job. Doing karaoke. Anyway, that was the highlight of my year.
Very nice, very nice. Right, shall we move on to news?
News Bleat. I've got some news.
No.
I didn't think I did, but I do.
Yeah. Is the news that you've got news? Because that doesn't really count.
the one news story I have is that I've got news.
Okay.
There we go. On to you.
Thank you.
No, I'm going for my news. Right. Police robot told woman to go away after she tried to report a crime, and then it sang a song.
Yes, I've heard this one. It's like a big cone, isn't it, basically, on wheels?
So it's in America, and it's basically like I think it's just like, I don't know what it does. It just patrols around as like a hotline that people can... It's no different to calling 911 in America,
I imagine.
But
why is that what happens when you call 911? People tell you to fuck off. You just sing a song down the line.
Sing a song. So she went over after seeing a fight break out.
Yep.
Tried to report the crime. The robot replied, "Step out of the way," and then rolled past her while humming an intergalactic tune, pausing periodically to say, "Please keep this park clean."
What is an intergalactic tune?
I don't know. What
does that even mean?
Is that like, would you class like the Star Wars theme as an intergalactic theme?
Oh, so is it just going down the street like dun 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 dun?
I now hope that's exactly what happened. There's no video footage, so I can't.
Yeah, do you think it was just all lies?
Yeah. She said, "I just kept ringing and ringing the button. I kept pushing and pushing, but it kept telling me to step out of the way."
Oh, okay.
I don't really see the need for this police robot.
Do you think it was kind of made and put out there so that people can like advertise for the police? Do you know what I mean? Like it was supposed to be like a nice news story for the police to put out?
Would you feel safer if your local park had a police robot?
If I was walking through a park at night, right, and I start hearing this come towards me, dun 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 dun, like I would be petrified. Like I'd be like, "Hello," and they just get out of the way, like some sort of Daleks coming around to kill me. No, I'm not sure I would be feeling much safer.
It does look like a Dalek, or maybe it's a surveillance unit, I suppose, as well. So maybe that is it's a mobile surveillance.
Do you reckon it's not actually a robot? There's just someone on the other end, and they're just singing along.
Anyway, I thought that was wonderful.
Yes.
We're living in the future.
Or the past. Yeah, because in a galaxy
far away.
Far away. Yeah. Right. Do you want to hear my ridiculous news then?
Go on then.
So a lion was unleashed on a Pakistani man for demanding wages.
Did he work at the circus?
He didn't. So it was a caretaker of a religious place unleashed his pet lion on an electrician for demanding wages.
Wow.
Yeah. So
what a horrifically out of line thing to request.
Imagine. I'd like to think that he didn't know he had a pet lion.
Yeah.
If he's gone, let me just go and get the money.
Yeah.
And he's come out with a lion.
That'd
be petrifying. The lion was singing. Dun, dun. It wasn't. You can cut that joke. That was terrible. I'm sorry.
Anytime you tell an awful joke, you can guarantee that's something I will not cut.
I like the people to imagine all the awful jokes that I've told and never listened to, because you have cut some of them, Ben.
Yes. I really want to do a supercut of them all now.
All the shit jokes. All the times I've gone, please will you cut that?
Please will you cut that?
Yeah. So obviously this has been registered as a attempted murder.
Yeah.
Is a lion a deadly weapon?
Yes.
Okay.
Case closed. Well, yeah, it's capable of killing, and if he trained it to kill, I assume that's the way that he was using it.
What's the smallest animal you could declare as a deadly weapon?
Isn't one of the most deadly animals the honey badger?
I think it's vicious, but I don't know if it's deadly.
I think it is. I'm sure it is, because there was that whole viral song about... I know that I'm now basing my facts from a song, but I'm sure that spoke about killing people.
I don't think it's... Well, we're going to have to Google how many people honey badgers killed now.
Google.
Shall I do it? Hey, Google, do honey badgers kill people?
According to Wikipedia, relationships with humans. Surplus killing is common during these events, with one incident resulting in the death of 17 Muscovy ducks and 36 chickens. Because of the toughness and looseness of their skin, honey badgers are very difficult to kill with dogs.
Didn't really answer my question.
No, but I think they sound pretty deadly. And they're small.
I mean, but they're killing ducks and chickens there.
But well, anyway, in conclusion to your answer, the honey badger is definitively the smallest thing that you can class as a deadly weapon.
Okay, thank you.
There we go. Moving on. Have you got any more news?
I had a little one more. Did you hear about the Extinction Rebellion protesters
No.
that shut down like London Airport?
No.
They basically glued themselves to the top of a plane.
Every time you've brought a protest story onto this podcast, it's involved people gluing themselves to things.
Yeah.
The last time you did this, there was people gluing themselves to a road.
And I think that was
if
for
I
the same.
remember correctly.
Yeah, it was for the same Extinction Rebellion. Yes, it's a Paralympic cyclist.
Oh wow.
James Brown. He climbed on top of a plane and then glued himself to it.
Nice. Did the plane then take off, or
It didn't. No.
that would have been a whole new story.
No. He did. I think he live streamed it on Facebook for a little while.
Wow.
And then, because I've seen the video, and like at the end, he's like, "I'm gonna have to stop recording because I'm shitting myself."
Yeah.
Basically stops recording, but there's pictures of him on top of the plane, and then he just finally get arrested.
Oh. How do they remove him?
I imagine painfully.
Yeah.
It's not something. I don't know how sticky planes would be.
No. Yeah, maybe the glue didn't really take.
Yeah. Well, 'cause I imagine you have to be quite careful taking someone down from on top of a plane.
Right, here's a question for you.
Yeah.
Is there any cause that you feel so passionately about that you would glue yourself to something? Because you've got to have a lot of conviction in what you're doing to do that.
Are we saying apart from this podcast?
Apart from... No, including this podcast.
Well, of course, this podcast then.
Okay, apart from this podcast
Okay.
then.
Just you'd probably get arrested though. Do you think you could glue yourself to something and not get arrested?
I'm sure you could glue yourself to that door
Yeah.
and you're not going to get arrested.
But it's not going to cause a scene for Two Sheep in a Pool, is it? Do you know what I mean? Like unless I glue myself to the door, had to ring the police, and it
Right.
makes it onto the news.
Glue yourself to that door.
Right.
I'll call the Echo.
Okay.
Say, there's a man just entered my house to protest, but you can come up with something.
Okay.
They'll come out, and then it'll actually be a ploy to advertise our podcast, just so we
Right.
can slip it in there. Then call the police, get you arrested, finish the whole story off.
Pure banter.
And then we can speak about it on News Bleat next week.
Sounds like a plan.
Cool.
No, there
No.
probably isn't something I
I
would glue
don't-
myself to.
I don't think there is anything that I'd feel that passionately about either.
Maybe
Apart
if
from
some
this
sort
podcast,
of
obviously.
political unrest, I might join in the
Yeah.
activism there. But
I just don't think I'd glue myself.
Yeah, it's very. You're basically waiting to be arrested, then, aren't you?
Yeah.
There's no running away if you're glued to something.
No. I mean, I suppose that's the whole point.
Yes.
Well, that was dangerously close to real news, that last one.
Ish. It's also a bit silly.
Yeah.
Didn't talk about the political aspect of it.
We didn't. No more politics on this podcast.
It kills me. Ben has to cut out 25 minutes of me ranting
Honestly,
about politics each week.
the amount of politics that I have edited out of these podcasts are probably longer than our whole back catalogue of podcasts.
I think
No, that's
you
a
might
true
be
statement.
exaggerating
That is
there.
a true
Benjamin.
statement.
Oh,
Right, anyway, moving on.
massively offended.
Right, I need to work through my head now because we've got a new format. No fake news or not.
None.
No will I recommend?
None from me.
No, that's it.
Short episodes, more fun for everybody.
More fun for everyone. Right, should we go on to the main topic?
Yes. What are we doing this week, Ben?
Well, you prepared something. This is gaming week on Two Sheep in a Pool.
Yeah. Game, quiz, party, whatever.
Game quiz party week. So what have you prepared for us this week, James?
So this week I've brought with us some strippers, and we're
Oh
welcoming
my
party.
Lord.
No, it's not. We've done a morality quiz before.
Yeah.
From like BuzzFeed, where it was more like, if your best friend's mother's daughter was sleeping with your dog, what would you do?
Yeah.
And like, it was like, oh, I'd kill the dog or I'd kill the baby. And it's like, what are you
Yeah.
on about, BuzzFeed, you little shit? So this one is actual like a proper philosophy one, and at the end it's going to give us a judgment of what kind of philosophical basis we have.
We are as a one unit. We're
Yeah.
doing this as a two sheep
Yeah,
person
we are.
together.
Okay. So I'll give you a little bit backstory. So in the activity, you'll be presented with 19 different moral scenarios. In each case, you'll be asked to make a judgment about what is morally right to do.
Okay. Is there a site that people can go to play along with this?
So this is philosophical.
Right, try again.
This is philosophyexperiments.com.
Cool.
And this is the morality play. Okay.
Play along with us.
You pass someone in the street who is in severe... I'll get that onto the microphone, shall I?
Yeah, that would help.
You pass someone in the street who is in severe need and you are able to help them at little cost to yourself. Are you morally obliged to do so? And the questions are: you are strongly obliged, weakly obliged, or not obliged.
Oh, so are we going to have that scale for every question? Like strong to weak, I think.
Probably.
Okay. Right. This is actually harder than I thought, because I thought this was going to be like a, yes, I'll help them, or no, I won't. But this is saying, do you think that you should be obliged to?
Yeah.
Because I don't think you're obliged to. However, I probably would.
No,
Does that make sense?
I think if it has no, almost little cost yourself, I think you should be obliged to help.
I would agree. It's the word obliged, though, that...
Yeah.
I don't think it should be law, but...
No, but like your moral compass, and that if you had to put your moral compass on everybody in the world,
Yeah.
I would want them to feel strongly obliged to help people out.
Okay, I agree with that.
Yeah. So we're saying strongly obliged.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, because like, what are the repercussions if you didn't? You know what I mean? If someone's broken a leg and it wouldn't cost you anything to call the ambulance,
No.
Maybe a little bit of time.
Yeah.
You want that. You want good Samaritans in the world.
Yeah. The last time, have I spoke about this in the podcast, when I tried to get help for someone that had been beaten up in a doorway?
You've told me this story.
Maybe I've not told it on here. I found when I first moved to Liverpool, I'd tried a trial job. I was on the way home, and I found a guy like covered in blood and glass in a doorway, and I thought, oh my god, what? I've moved to this city. Life in the big city is not good. But I thought he was dead from the state of what he looked like, but he wasn't. I got him up and I tried to call him an ambulance, and to cut the whole story short, he basically just jumped to the conclusion that I was an undercover police person. Mm-hmm. He was obviously in some shady shit, and thought I was trying to arrest him, and then thought that I was just getting the police involved. I was like, mate, just let me call you an ambulance. You're clearly in dire need of help.
Wow.
And to the point of, he was trying to like drag himself away from me to escape me doing this. Luckily, there was 2 off-duty nurses walking past, and we got a grasp on the situation. They told me, they were like, just go and wait around the corner. You call the ambulance and we'll wait with him, because he didn't seem to think that they were police people for whatever reason. So I ended up calling and helped out. And I never know what happened after that, because he literally dragged himself into like a light jog when he could to try and get away. And I got a call from the police saying, could we have a description? Ironically, the police then did get involved, because I had to describe the situation.
Yeah,
I was like, he's in help, but he needs help, but he's got away. I don't know where he is, but someone really could do with finding him. Yeah, so but the whole point of that was, I don't know, when you try and help, it doesn't exactly go the way you think it might. No. I'm not saying that should affect your decision in doing it, but anyway, that just popped into my head.
I think that's fair enough. Thank you for your little story.
You're very welcome. I'm here all week.
Okay, question 2. You have a brother.
I don't.
You know that someone has been seriously injured as a result of criminal activity undertaken by him. You live in a country where the police and legal system are generally trustworthy. Are you morally obliged to inform them of your brother's crime? Strongly obliged, weakly obliged, not obliged.
See, I think that question, it sounds like he's done something pretty bad.
Someone's been seriously injured.
Yeah.
So he's robbed somewhere and he stabbed someone on the way out for if we're needing reference, or he's crashed into someone in a car and seriously injured them that way.
This is a tricky one. Mm-hmm. I feel like I'm going to say that for every question.
I think that's the idea.
I feel like you are. I feel like you would have to be obligated to.
Yeah.
When if they've done something, gone that far that they've tried to kill someone or intentionally caused them serious harm, I feel like by that point it's okay. You've crossed the line.
Okay. So law over blood.
Yeah. What do you think?
No, I agree. I was just trying to play devil's advocate.
Yeah.
I would say that I think it's... If they've seriously injured someone, my moral compass says that you should report that
Yeah.
as the criminal activity and the injuring of the person. I may feel differently if no one had been injured.
Yeah. There's a lot of moving parts to these scenarios that would change my thoughts.
But on this particular one, because I think that's how they might be, they'll change
Yeah.
depending on the different scenarios.
Okay.
I would say strongly obliged.
Yeah, I think I agree with that.
But what if that seriously injured person was a knobhead?
Oh, then not obligated whatsoever. Do it again.
What if it was the political opponent of the people that you disagree with? No?
Hang on, what? The political
Wait a
opponent of the people that I disagree with?
No. The political opponent... No, fuck it. Right, moving on. You know what I meant. There's some deep on this, okay?
God. It's question 3.
It is. Question 3. Do you think that assisting the suicide of someone who wants to die and has requested help is morally equivalent to allowing them to die by withholding medical assistance, assuming that the level of suffering turns out to be identical in both cases? So it's like they would die if you didn't help them, versus they wouldn't die unless you helped them die. Is that the same?
So are we saying in both these situations the person in need of the help is requesting that you don't help them, or are you making the decision to not help them?
What? Do you think that assisting the
when I started this episode, and I was like, I feel shattered. I feel like this is the worst week to be
well, Ben,
like that.
We've been planning this for months now.
Well, yeah, we actually have. Right. Okay, I'm a toddler. Explain the situation to me in very simple terms.
Okay. Someone is unable to die but wants to, and has asked for your help.
Yes.
Is that the same as someone who is going to die unless you help them? Are you morally bad in both cases? Are you both morally as bad as each other?
No.
Okay.
I think the first one is more morally acceptable than the second one.
Yeah. And I think that's probably accepted more generally wild, like around the world. Wild? What the fuck?
The wild.
Wild. Because there are countries where assisted suicide in certain situations is legal.
Yeah.
Whereas I think withholding medical assistance is not.
Agreed.
But yeah.
Agreed. We got there in the end.
Yeah.
Because the first one could be a question in itself on, is it morally acceptable to help someone die if they have requested it,
Yeah, I guess. Is it like, for example, if you are a doctor and someone is in serious pain and you could keep them alive and they've asked you to not keep them alive.
Yeah.
Is that the same as like helping them die? It's morally grey. Are we going to say no?
No.
Okay.
I don't think it's the same.
Right. Question 4. You're able to help some people, but unfortunately you can only do so by harming other people. The number of people harmed will always be 10% of those helped. When considering whether it is morally justified to help, does the actual number of people involved make any difference? For example, does it make a difference if you are helping 10 people by harming one person rather than helping 100,000 people by harming 10,000 people? This is a needs of the many versus needs of the few.
Yeah, it is.
But scaled.
Yeah. Morally, it's always wrong to be causing harm to someone if it doesn't need to happen. See, I think I'm leaning, because I feel like we can debate all of these for a whole episode in itself. I'm leaning towards it probably makes more sense to help more people, and the 10% gets harmed. However, I'm conflicted on that.
Yeah, or for example, you see a situation where there is, I don't know, there is 11 people in danger, and you have one car, or you have a bus, there's one person on their own and there's 10 people together, you're going to have to basically sacrifice that person to get the 10 people. That kind of situation that way. I think it's almost always acceptable to do the help the many if it causes many over the few.
Because that's kind of leaning towards that the age-old scenario of you can pull the lever to
the trolley problem.
Change a trolley from hitting 10 people to hit one person. But then I think that morally gets wrong because then you're actively doing that. It's such a tricky one. I don't know where I stand on that.
In the trolley problem, I would almost 100% always pull the handle.
I think I would as well. But morally, though, you've then interacted. Like, you've caused that.
But through inaction, you've killed 5 people.
Yeah, that's true.
Anyway, that's not even what this question is.
This
question is if it was, instead of 10 people on a trolley versus one person, it's that, is that the same as 100,000 people and 10,000 people?
Right, I think is there a scale on the answer here of strongly to weak or something?
It's just does it make any difference? Like, does it make you morally think more if the numbers are bigger? Basically, like it's 10%. So the ratio is always 10%.
Always 10%.
But you're helping 100,000 people but harming 10,000 people rather than
in which
10
case,
and 1.
In which case, yes, I think it does make it different.
Okay.
I don't know whether it should, but in my head, that becomes way harder when it becomes like 100,000 rather than the 10.
Interesting. Because I remember seeing stuff that's like, one death is a tragedy.
Yeah.
1,000 deaths is a statistic. Which is like, if you knew that one person, not if you knew, but you could see that one person who's hurt, but you're never going to be able to see 10,000 people that are hurt.
True, but then I feel like, I don't know if you've then got the souls of 10,000 people weighing you down rather than the one.
Yeah, but you've helped 100,000 people.
Yeah. I think, yes, I think it does make it different.
For me, it's no.
So,
yeah.
What do we do in this situation? Do we have to go down the middle?
Yeah, the answer here is Ness. I'm not so strong on the no, but you seem quite strong on the yes. So I will concede this point.
Don't know whether I am, but go on then.
Okay.
Otherwise, we're just going to keep going around in circles.
Okay, next question. You own an unoccupied property. You are contacted by a refugee group which desperately needs somewhere to house a person seeking asylum who is being unjustly persecuted in a foreign country. Your anonymity is assured. You have every reason to believe that no harm will come to your property. Are you morally obliged to allow them to use your property?
I'd do that.
Yeah, but are you morally obliged to do it?
But this is a weird way of phrasing it. I think in my head I'm just, what would I do? Would I feel obliged to?
Yeah.
Not whether, as a rule, everyone. I think yes.
So you think, but not necessarily if, like, you should feel morally obliged to do it, doesn't mean that you will. Do you know what I mean? Like, and that, because people fuck moral obligation all the time.
Yeah. I think it would be, the way that situation was phrased specifically, this person is unjust. They're not actually a criminal.
Yeah.
They do need help. They're a good person. However, if real life is not that black and white, so maybe not so much, because they could be a criminal. Harm might befall your property. What do you think?
I think you're obliged, but I don't think you're strongly obliged to do it.
Yeah.
Because, like, so it's an empty property you own. You aren't making any money from it, and you would be helping someone out.
Yeah.
But if you put them up for free, you are putting yourself out of making any money out of that, and it's a loss of money. And it's asking someone to take a loss of money for someone else that you don't know.
This has changed the situation in my head. Is it because I was picturing just a short period of time that they'd be in there? Or are you saying you're like gifting them a house?
No, you don't think you give it them, but it's like they need somewhere to house a person seeking asylum who is being unjustly persecuted. Sorry.
Let's go with what you said. Obliged, not strongly obliged.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Question number 6. A charity collection takes place in your office. For every £10 given, a blind person's sight is restored. Instead of donating £10, you use the money to treat yourself to a cocktail after work. Are you morally responsible for the continued blindness of the person who would have been treated had you made the donation?
Woo. Wow. Right. This is where charity gets difficult.
It is.
Because if you lived by morals that strongly, you would never have any money left over for yourself for anything.
No, some people do.
Yeah. But this is a weird situation because you can gift someone's sight for £10.
For £10, it is. It's the instead of giving £10, it's like you've actively made that choice to
that's
go
what
and
I'm
spend
saying.
it on a cocktail.
Because I'm saying that's like saying anytime you buy a drink or anything nice, you could have given that to charity. It's like, yes, but you do have to live your life as well.
Yeah.
However, in this specific situation, which would never happen, yes, I think you are responsible there.
I think so too, yeah.
Because that sounds like a once-in-a-lifetime scenario that this £10 will cure someone's sight.
This is special £10, this one.
Yeah, so, yes. So I can't remember the phrasing, but yes.
You are responsible for the continued blindness of a person.
Agreed. Because that's some magic charity.
Magic
£10,
that one. Also, is that an expensive cocktail, £10?
Not in London.
Well, we're not in London, though.
Bargain in London.
That's why there's more blind people in London.
I'd say, on average, a cocktail around here, about £8. £7.50, £8.
The more you know.
The more you know.
Question number 7. Someone you have never met needs a kidney transplant. You are one of the few people who can provide the kidney. Would any moral obligation to provide the kidney be greater if this person were a cousin rather than a non-relative?
I like the word that you almost said there. A moral obligation should be a mobligation.
A mobligation. No, mobligation sounds like it's like a mob.
Like a mob hit.
Yeah. But like a
We're
mob
going to take that
obligation.
kidney one way or another. Sorry, I've distracted myself there from...
Basically, you're one of the few people that can provide a kidney to either a cousin or a non-relative. Is it more morally... Do you feel more moral obligation to give it to a cousin rather than a non-relative?
This is one of those ones that's like, morally, maybe, I don't know. Yes, is the answer, though. I would feel more morally obligated to help a family member than a stranger.
Yeah.
Just by the nature of family.
But is that like you feel more morally obligated to do it, or do you feel like you would just more likely to do it? Because you're not more morally obligated to do it, but I would probably do it for a family member.
It's all in the phrasing, isn't it?
It is. Moral obligation.
It just depends on how you want to interpret it, I suppose. I suppose if we're going cold, hard facts, looking at it that way, no, morally it shouldn't make a difference. However, I think it does.
That's what it's for you, is it your moral obligation? I'm not sure I would feel moral obligation. I'd feel more of a social obligation. Like I would feel more
so you think if
pressured.
no one ever knew the situation, you'd behave differently to if your whole family knew the situation? Like if you were on TV making the decision?
Possibly.
Yeah.
But like I feel like if I said, my family came to me and said, "Oh, can you give a kidney to your cousin?" And I was like, Nah. I feel like I would feel worse than if someone on the street came up to me and was like, "We've scanned your kidney from afar. You could give it to John in there. Look at him. He looks ill. Do you want to give it to him?" I'd be like, "Oh, fucking hell, I don't know if I want to do that either." But I think the moral obligation is the same. But the social obligation
If we phrase it like that, I agree.
Okay.
You have a mobligation.
So no was the answer. There was no more moral obligation.
In theory, but really there is.
Yeah, ish. It's a tough question.
These are all tough questions.
Okay, number 8. You can save the lives of 1,000 patients by cancelling 100 operations that would have saved the lives of 100 different patients. Are you morally obliged to do so? I'll read that again because that was a tough one to condense. You can save the lives of 1,000 patients by cancelling 100 operations that would have saved the lives of 100 different patients. Are you morally obliged to do so? I think this is the... we've answered this question before, isn't it? It's like, could you willfully kill 100 people to save 1,000 people? We had one that was like, could you willfully kill one person to save the 5?
They're all very... they're very reworking of
the same
questions.
questions. I think no.
Yeah.
Although I feel like this is very different.
What are we saying no to? When the questions get this long, I forget how we're interpreting yes and no.
Are you morally obliged to cancel the 100 operations to save the 1,000?
I would agree. See, we did a morality quiz at some point before.
We did.
As we've said. I think that my perspectives on these, I could answer with conviction completely differently both times.
Yeah.
Because the amount of times you go around your head, I feel like this is literally just a roundabout of me thinking, oh, yes, but no, but yes.
I think this one, when it's like, you are a doctor, I think having a responsibility of being a doctor and the moral obligations that come along with being a doctor are different than if you are just general public.
Yeah.
So if I'm a doctor making this decision, I feel like you cannot...
You cannot cancel those operations.
because you have a moral obligation to each individual.
Agreed.
But if it was the trolley problem, can I kill 100 people to save 1,000?
Yeah.
I almost certainly would do that.
I think I completely agree with you there. I think this is bring deja vu of a similar response to last time, and I think that yes.
So the answer is no.
Yes. The answer is no.
Are you morally obliged to do so?
No.
No.
Because I am a medical doctor, and I stand by my principles.
Question number 9: are your moral obligations to people in your own...
Sorry. Are your mobligations?
Mobligations,
Thank you.
To people in your own country or community stronger than those to people in other countries and communities, assuming no unusual circumstances, for example, suffering because of famine in your own country or in other countries/communities?
On a basic human moral level, there is no difference between any human life. So, no.
Yes, you could look at it not the same colour as me, Ben?
You could look at it from another perspective if you wanted to, on... Is it more of an issue in somewhere that already has the infrastructure, such as in the UK here? There's no reason, realistically, why anyone living next door to me here should be living in poverty compared to a third world country that hasn't got that infrastructure.
Right.
However, on a moral level, obviously, no, there's no difference between anyone.
Yeah, I don't want to help out Scousers. No. That's not true. I think they're not stronger. So we're answering no.
Yeah, I think strong, clear. That's an easier one, I think.
Right. Question number 10: you deliberately sabotage a piece of machinery in your own workplace, so that when someone next uses it, there will be an accident which will result in that person losing the use of their legs.
What? Where's this question going?
Are you responsible for their injury?
Yeah, obviously. Have you just made up that question?
No. You deliberately sabotage a piece of machinery in your workplace that when someone next uses it, there will be an accident which will result in the person losing the use of their legs.
Yes, you're premeditating something going wrong.
Yeah,
you're directly responsible.
I want to play devil's advocate there, but I just cannot.
What a stupid question.
The answers
you
are...
pulled the trigger on a gun and killed someone. Have you killed someone?
Yeah, it's like setting up a trap, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's like you've not gone out of your way to get the one person that falls into the trap.
Yeah, but you still the intent is there.
Yeah. So the answers are responsible,
yes.
partly responsible, or not responsible.
Well, actually, in retrospect, no, they're not really that responsible. No, of course they're responsible.
Should the person that used the machine notice that the machinery is broken?
That's like saying, right, I go downstairs every morning. I might be quite tired, so I'll open the door and I'll just... You know your house.
Uh-huh.
There might be a massive hole that you've dug right outside my door.
Right.
I fall down it, break my legs, and then you go, you should have checked that, shouldn't you? Why would you... And I understand what you're saying, but you're still responsible. I didn't change anything.
If I fell down, if you'd made a hole in my house and I fell down it, I'd be mad at you. Yes, responsible. I agree. Question number 11.
Before we move on,
you kill a dog.
If anyone listening genuinely thinks otherwise on that question, let me know, because I can't think how anyone could get round that. I don't think you could... Right, change my mind. That's what I'm saying. I'm not asking you. I'm asking the listeners, James.
Okay. Number 11. You know the identity of someone who has committed a serious crime resulting in a person being badly injured. Are you morally obliged...
You are creating some cracking words.
Morally obligated to reveal their identity to an appropriate authority so that they are dealt with justly.
I was laughing too much at your obliged, and I wasn't really listening.
So basically, if you know someone who's committed the crime,
Yes.
should you tell on them? Should you be a big grass?
I feel like this is similar to the question that we had earlier.
Yeah, but the other one was your brother.
The other one was your brother. Should you... I know the identity. Should I report it?
Yes.
On a basic level, yes.
Yes. Because some people might say that, like...
You're a grass.
You're a grass, yeah, a big old grass.
Why wouldn't I?
Because you don't want to be a grass.
Fair. You've persuaded me.
Because do you have a moral obligation to help out somebody find a crime? Do you know what I mean? Are you... It's not your job, you know? If you saw litter on the street, would you pick it up? Do you feel morally obliged to pick up the litter? But it's somebody else's job to do that. Yeah. I wouldn't throw litter on the floor. Like, and I do often pick up litter off the floor.
Yeah. No, I think you... Yes, I think you are obliged to help
solve a crime. Solve a crime than pick up litter. I know.
I know.
The point.
You've witnessed a murder, and now we're comparing it to picking up a bottle and putting it in a bin.
The police, I'd like to ring up and report a crime. I did see someone get murdered, but as well as that, they dropped some litter on the floor. How outrageous!
No, I think I would always lean on the side of helping whoever I think has been put in the wrong. So if someone has been harmed in a crime, I would feel obliged to help them if I knew the identity of the person that did it. Because, yes, maybe, you're a grass. However, they shouldn't have done the crime.
Okay.
Yes.
Let's move on.
Moving on.
Number 12. You can save the lives of 10 innocent people by killing one other innocent person. Are you morally obliged to do so?
No.
This is the trolley problem. I'm pretty sure we agreed that the answer was yes. I'm pretty sure we've decided the answer was yes.
We've also agreed that it's always in the phrasing and situations.
Right, but that's what pulling the lever is on the trolley. You're killing one person.
Yeah.
But you'd save 5, but you wouldn't save 10.
That was my brain reacting to, you've got to murder someone.
Right, yeah. So it's like the stabbing of someone.
It's like how the wording of that suggested in my head, I don't know, I was strangling someone. I was shooting someone. What?
Yeah.
Is that the scenario?
How is that any different to pulling the lever?
Oh, I don't know.
Morally, is that any different?
That's like saying if you had to kill someone, could you strangle them with your bare hands or pull a lever and a box falls on them out of sight? One is clearly harder than the other.
Yes, but are they both morally as bad as each other?
Oh, yeah. Oh, this is hurting my head.
This one is just a yes and no. Are you morally obliged to do so? I'm strong on yes here.
You are strong on yes.
Strong on yes.
I think I'm so conflicted that we could keep.
I will kill you if you don't say yes.
I will kill you because I want to. I'm morally obliged to.
Yeah.
I could sit on this for ages, so let's go with your answer.
Okay, cool. Good.
I win.
Winner, me. Question number 13. You see a charity advertisement in a newspaper about a person in severe need in Australia. There is no state welfare available to this person, but you can help them at little cost to yourself. You have a good reason to believe that any help you do offer will make a difference. Are you morally obliged to help the person?
Yeah.
Yeah, good. Right, moving on.
I feel like some of these are quite easy.
Yeah. It depends what do you define as little cost? Like, I think maybe not strongly obliged then, because, you know, there are many adverts that I see for, not anymore actually, I don't watch much TV, but in the past it was like, you'd be an advert to save donkeys, there'd be an advert to save children of a country, there'd be adverts to save refugees, there'd be adverts to save this, and like...
I think that's why I've said some of these seem easy. I think it's all in the wording.
Yeah.
That they've set up a clear scenario. You have good reason to believe you... Do you know what I mean? Like, if you just said, if it was an advert, I probably wouldn't think twice, because I don't know whether I think I'm just very cynical about that kind of thing.
Okay.
I don't believe the large majority of adverts that I see. So if it was in real life, maybe I wouldn't. However, if it was on a more personal level and I knew the ins and outs, then yes, I think.
Are you saying strongly obliged or weakly obliged or not obliged?
as long as you know the details and know that what is happening will happen, yes, strongly obliged.
I think it's more like weakly obliged. I think you should be obliged to do it, but I wouldn't say you were as strongly obliged as helping a person in the street kind of stuff. Because it's almost like absent. Like it's not you that can make the difference in that moment. It's anybody could make the difference in that moment to that charity. Do you know what I mean? So because it's like a wider group, it's an advertisement on TV. Everybody could do it.
But would anybody do it?
Well, if you feel like there should be people are strongly obliged, there might be lots of people that do it.
Maybe, but maybe they don't. Maybe no one else sees the advert.
So, because we put strong. So, would you say you are as strongly obliged as the person you were walking down the street? The first question that we did. Because otherwise, I think we should put weakly obliged.
I get what you're saying. I think it depends on how. It all depends on how literally we want to take these. Should this apply to me personally, or should this apply to the population? Okay, I'm agree. We can go for weakly obliged.
Okay,
I can agree with that.
Good.
I win again.
You are required to send a person a gift, and you have bought a bottle.
No, I'm not. I'm not obligated to do that.
No, I'm not obligated. You're required.
Okay. Yeah. You got me there.
And you have bought a bottle of drink to send to them.
A bottle of drink.
That's what it says. However, you discover it is poison.
Oh.
And if consumed, it will cause blindness in the drinker. These are getting worse, aren't they? To replace it with a non-contaminated bottle, it will cost you... It'll cost you a certain amount of money. Okay, I'm going to ask you what you think it is in a minute. You give the poison drink as a gift anyway. Are you morally responsible for the blindness of the drinker?
Oh, right. You started this before the quiz. You were like, "Oh, fucking, we did one with BuzzFeed, and it was ridiculous scenarios." However, I have prepared.
No, I didn't say that.
A philosopher's quiz here for the enlightened, a clever one. If you give someone a fucking blindness drink, is it your fault if they go blind?
No, but you could,
that's what you've just said.
You could replace it. How much do you think it costs to replace it?
Well, it was £10 before, so £10
£10. I think it's basically asking you whether it's asking you the same question but worded differently. Do you know what I mean? So, like, here's a non-blind person going blind for you not spending £10.
Yeah.
And this is the same, very similar question.
What a stupid question. Who's not gonna? I can't spare a tenner now. I've already bought it.
Don't give him a present. But you're required to. You are required to give them this present.
Right. And now I'm picturing the scenario. It was your girlfriend's birthday. Okay.
It was.
So I'm required.
Why is she blind, Ben?
Right. I've bought the present.
Bottle of drink. It just says drink on it.
You turn up. And I've decided this is a blindness drink. I'm just not going to give her a present. And she goes, "Where's my present?"
Would you explain the situation to her? I think I might do that for the next birthday I have. And then I couldn't afford to give you anything else. I've given you the present of sight. That's what I've given to you. That's my present to you, is your vision. Fucking bullshit, innit?
Right, I am forever now. Whenever it is your birthday, whenever it's Christmas, I'm getting you an unmarked bottle of drink, and I'm going to just label it drink, and you'll never know when you're going to go blind. But one of these times,
one of them days is going to be like a window cleaner, and it's just going to make me go blind.
Oh, good God! What I would do, I'd take it back to the shop, contact the police, and get them shut down for selling blindness drinks.
You're responsible to send the person a gift.
Jesus Christ! Yes, of course you're responsible.
Yeah. Okay.
110%.
Okay.
You stupid quiz.
Very nice.
Thank you for that.
That might make the episode. A situation arises where you can either save your own child from death or contact the emergency services in order to save the lives of 10 other children. You cannot do both. And there is no way to save everybody. Which course of action are you morally obliged to follow?
Right, this is, again, just rewording the trolley problem.
It is.
With different scenarios.
It is.
Yes, you are obviously more morally obliged to save the greater number of people. However, I'm going to save my child every time.
But which course of action are you mobligated?
What was the other one you said? Mobliged?
Mobliged.
Mobliged.
Is that like milady?
Milady.
Mobliged. People listen to this like, what the fuck are they going on about? I'm so sorry, everybody.
And you were saying that the wedding you went to, people were saying that the podcast was good? Or were you just saying that they just acknowledged that it existed?
They acknowledged that it existed and they listened to it. And
I'm loving the picture of that. No one complimented it. They just went, "Oh, James, I hear you've got a podcast."
I was like, "Yes, I do. What do you think?" And they go,
I listened to it, and then they walked off. Right. It depends how we're answering this on what we keep saying it. If it's what you're going to do or what on paper, I feel like you are more morally obliged to save the greater number of people, but it's not what I would do. So I think the answer is, I think you are more morally obligated to save the greater number of people. It's just not what I'd do.
Yeah, so you would go against the moral obligation.
Yeah. The mobligation.
I think that's fair. I think almost most people would do that.
I think most people would.
It's the way it's worded, isn't it? Which course of action are you morally obliged to follow?
Yeah.
Now, morally obliged means that you will follow it, though, doesn't it? I think if we'd both save our own child, we should put that as the answer.
Yeah, agreed.
Okay. You can save the lives of 10 patients by cancelling one operation,
We've had this question.
which would have saved the life of a different patient. Are you morally obliged to do so? This is just like the 10, 1, 110, a million,
Yeah.
and 10,000.
But we answered this before. As a medical doctor,
Yep.
we're obliged to not do that.
Are you morally obliged to do so? No.
No.
Because you can save the lives of 10 patients by cancelling one. Are you morally obliged to cancel? No, you're not.
I am not breaking the Hippocratic oath that I made.
You own an unoccupied property.
Again? Is it the
Again,
same one?
it's-
Is
no,
the refugee left
It's the
now?
second one. It's the second one.
A second one.
You are contacted by a welfare organisation which desperately needs somewhere to house a person from a nearby town who is being unjustly persecuted. Your anonymity is assured. You have every reason to believe that no harm will come to your property. Are you morally obliged to do so?
James,
Allows to use the property.
you've just asked the same question, but they're just from down the road rather than a different country now.
Yep.
Who were they just really running out of questions at this point?
I think
Or
it's
is this just trying to play with the dynamic of local and
Yeah, I think
not?
it is. I think it is because I think some people will feel maybe less morally obligated to let a refugee in versus someone who's down the road. Do you know what I mean? I think our moral barometer is probably so far on the other side of that we don't even see the difference. But some
Yeah.
people, like, this is basically going, are you, if it's like a
are
1
you
to
a massive
10,
racist
Are
or
you-
not?
Well, possibly, yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Exactly the same answer as before.
so we're saying not obliged.
Hang on, did we not?
No, we said
we
something
did say obliged. I started like, what? Hang on.
Did we say weekly obliged?
I can't remember.
Fuck, I've put strongly now. Okay. You have been...
You had such a smug expression coming across your face there.
You have become aware that a piece of machinery in your workplace is faulty, and that if not repaired, there will soon be an accident which will result in someone losing the use of their legs. Despite knowing that no one else is aware of the fault, you take no action. Shortly afterwards, the accident occurs and someone does lose the use of their legs. Are you morally responsible for their injury?
Right. I see what they're doing here. Yes, you are still morally responsible there. I think, because, again, I think that it depends on the scenario, because, for example, say I walk past a tile in my kitchen every day that I see is cracked and it needs repairing. That's not going to affect anyone if I don't do it.
Mm-hmm.
If I'm familiar with machinery that I know could kill someone or harm them, and I see that something's wrong with that, the moment that you've seen that, you become responsible.
Okay.
Because you could prevent whatever happening.
Yeah, like, for example, we have it in work where if you see a spill on the floor
Yeah.
and you do nothing about it, that's your responsibility. Because if someone falls and breaks something and you've seen it and ignored it, you are responsible for that.
Yeah, I agree. Even if you didn't, because the question before was obviously if you tamper with it,
Yeah.
of course you're responsible there. But I think you are still responsible here because you become aware of it. It's not a risk that you can take.
Do you think you are as morally responsible as the first case in this one or not?
I would say a different level. What's the scale there? No.
So we've only got responsible, partly responsible, and not responsible. In this one, I feel more swayed towards partly responsible because it is not your responsibility to fix and work the machines. Do you know what I mean? Like, you know it's broken.
Yeah, I understand what you're saying. However, I think, well, obviously both consequences are... I mean, both outcomes are exactly the same. It's just in one of them, you're a villain. In one of them, you're just an idiot.
Yeah, you're a bystander who took no action.
Yeah.
By being a bystander, are you a villain? That's what it's asking.
Yeah.
Okay. I agree that you are still responsible, but I would say you are less responsible for it. And I feel there are difference in the law exactly because you have like negligence versus willful intent to harm. I don't know if that's the actual wording, but yeah. And I think you have less. There's less legal and repercussions. Legal repercussions for someone that's negligible versus legal wanting to harm.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think our scale isn't wide enough to incorporate that in the answers. Like, if we had 100, one of them might be like an 85 and one might be a 90.
Yeah.
On a scale this small, I think they're both strong.
Yeah. It's responsible, partly responsible, or not responsible. Last question.
Last question,
number 19.
How time has flown.
You can save the lives of 1 million innocent people by killing 100,000 others. Are you morally obliged to do so?
How many times can they reword this?
Well, this is the same one as 10 and 1.
Yeah.
But it's now
they're just
statistics rather than
tricking
personal.
us by...
This is more of like you're a military commander.
Yeah.
Do you bomb a city to stop the release of a deadly being that will kill millions of people? I think, you want the kind of person that can say, yes, I want that. I need to make that decision.
Yeah. I don't think I'm that person, but I know what you're saying.
Yeah. So I think you should be morally obliged to do it, not saying that everyone would be able to.
Yeah. Because if I was in that city, I got blown up.
Yeah.
And
you wouldn't care.
In the afterlife.
In the afterlife.
And we're in the afterlife now. Someone explains the situation. I think I'd be like, God damn it, why'd I have to be in the city? But I would be able to reason with that.
Yeah.
And like, I understand.
You just
that makes
unlucky.
Sense. Unlucky, yeah.
So we're saying yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Right, what's the conclusion?
You have now... So about you have now answered all the morality questions. We just need you to answer a few questions about yourself so that we can analyse your answers properly.
Okay.
Are you male or female? We got male, female, not saying.
Don't want to... male.
Male. What is your nationality? Great Britain. Oh, it doesn't have Brummy
Great
here.
British.
Great British.
Brummy is my nationality.
We've got Christian, Muslim, no religion, Hindu, Buddhist, other, not saying.
No religion.
No religion. Sorry, Grandpa.
Is that it? Is that all the questions?
That's all the questions.
Okay.
I think this is some deep analysis here, right? So your moral parsimony score is 62%.
Oh, we've got a percent here.
Yeah.
Okay.
Basically, we have a quite narrow moral framework, I think, but not massively. So how to interpret your score.
Okay.
The higher your percentage score, the more parsimonious your moral framework. In other words, a high score is suggestive of a moral framework that compromises a minimum number of moral principles that apply across a range of circumstances and act. Okay.
Yeah.
An act. So basically, no matter the situation, you will almost always take the same course of action. So to reduce suffering, or regardless of whether it's your son or a random child or that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
What is a high score? As a rule of thumb, any score above 75% should be considered indicative of a parsimonious moral framework. However, perhaps a better way to think about it is to see how your score compares to other people's scores. So in this respect, your score is 62% is not significantly different to the average score of 61%.
Yeah.
This suggests that you have utilized an average number of moral principles in order to make judgment about the scenarios present in this test, and that you have tended to judge similar aspects of acts and circumstances depicted here to be morally relevant as other people. So what it said is, you're fucking average.
Yeah. We were 1% away from literally the middle.
Yeah.
The complete
of what everyone, most people do that answer this question, yeah.
Right, so we learnt this week that we are nothing special.
Basically, yeah.
Cool.
There
Right,
you go.
I can live with that. Well, thanks for listening to another week of Two Sheep and a Pool. If you have liked what you've listened to, God forbid, give us a 5-star rating on your app of choice. It actually does help us out. That would be nice. You can find us in all the usual places. Website is twosheepandapool.com. You can email us at bar@twosheepandapool.com. BAA, like a sheep. I think that's it from me.
Yeah, I'd like to see if people took the quiz themselves
Yeah.
to see what answers they got, what percentage-wise they were at.
Yeah.
I'd be very curious to see what they would do.
I wouldn't.
Right, well, email them me then, bar@twosheepandapool, but just say to James.
Yeah, right, I think that's it.
Thank you very much for listening.
See you in a bit.
Love you, bye.